You're tuned in to the DMV Hoops Podcast.
This is John the Scripter, head girls basketball coach at St. John's College High School, and this is the DMV Hoops Podcast.
Welcome to the DMV Hoops Podcast, the DMV's home for high school basketball. Hosted by Kurt Cross and featuring Chelsea Cross. We bring you the latest news, interviews, rankings, recruiting buzz, and standout performances from the public and private school basketball scene across Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. Stream us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Buzzsprout, YouTube, and everywhere podcasts are heard. Now, let's get into it. Here's your host, Kurt Cross.
Welcome to the DMV Hoops Podcast. As always, I'm Kurt Cross. She is
Chelsea Cross.
And we're here live from the Capital Hoops Summer League at the Mather. As you know, we bring you the coaches, we bring you the players, we bring you the stories. And we have a gentleman who I've seen on the sideline probably 25, 30 times. And I swear to you, 10 minutes ago was the first time we ever had a conversation. But let's welcome Mr. Roger Garfield from Loyola Blakefield. Coach Garfield, how you doing?
Thanks, Curtis. I'm doing great. I swear we have met at Four Corners Pub a time or two, but maybe not.
I'll tell you why that might not be possible, because believe it or not, and I may have met you a year ago at Four Corners Pub. The reason I say that is because the first time I ever went there was for Steve's going away party.
Okay.
So if you were there, then I would have met you there. But
possible.
prior to that, I'm a Montgomery County guy, but I've never been there before that.
It's possible I'm conflating moments, but Steve and I have had so many moments in that establishment. So my apologies, but it's great to be on. Nice to see you, Chelsea and Curtis. Thank you.
Let me tell you, you are, I won't call you a Renaissance man because that makes it seem like you don't know how to make up your mind. But you are traveled. You are Bethesda, you are Potomac, you are the WCAC in D.C., and now we're in Baltimore.
That's right. I grew up in Michigan.
Okay.
Spent time in Tennessee before
That's
I became
That's why those colors on that van don't bother you, right? That's big blue. Go blue, right?
Loyola's colors, gold and blue, are similar to Michigan's, of course. I grew up 20 minutes from Ann Arbor.
Okay.
Big Fab Five fan growing up.
Okay.
But, been in the region for the last 17 years and just finished my first year up at Loyola Blakefield. Our family moved to Baltimore August 1st. So we're coming up on a year in a place that is just 30 miles up the road.
Right.
It feels like a new universe to us.
Okay.
And it's treated us really well. My children, Summer's 6. She's in kindergarten, loves her school.
Okay.
We live in a neighborhood with 4 or 5 of her best friends from her class on our street.
Right.
My son's in a great school. My wife's working at some great hospitals. So we never wanted to leave D.C., but we're really happy in Baltimore.
Well, I'll tell you this, because regardless of what the job has in store for you up there, having your family comfortable and settled in, that makes all the difference, right?
My wife is a saint, so she definitely sets a tone for our family where she understands what it takes to be a winning coach. Just like Leah and Steve for years at Gonzaga,
Right.
You can't do it without support from your family.
You can't.
If you want to have a nuclear family unit that you can still have that traditional experience and coach. So my wife was the one that was the impetus. I didn't want to necessarily leave Mater Dei, where I was for 14 years,
Right.
or Gonzaga, where I was for 9 years. But when this opportunity came about and my wife said, "What are you waiting for? This is what you've dreamt of."
Right.
She was 100% right, and that was kind of the nudge that helped us say yes last April.
Right. Well, I'm not going to knock anyone, but I was hoping to see you stay in D.C. I was hoping that you would move over those, what does Steve call it, those 16 inches or whatever it is?
18 inches, yep.
Right, to the
moving
next
one
seat.
seat over. Steve never sat, of course.
No,
but
Steve never sat.
sitting there as an assistant and with so many other great assistants and with so many great players, what a blessing to be a part of that Gonzaga community. That's one of the reasons it was hard not to say yes to Loyola, but to say goodbye to D.C.
Right.
And because the job is so demanding in Baltimore, I haven't been missing D.C. per se. I've missed
You don't
my
have
school
time to,
Mater Dei.
right?
There's a lot entailed, and I'm wrapping my head around the ecosystem that is Loyola Blakefield. It's a great community.
Right.
But yeah, Gonzaga is special for many reasons, and a big reason was Steve. So when Steve left, that was a little challenge for me. Do I apply and put all my eggs in the Gonzaga basket? And I applied, but then when I got the job offer at Loyola, with confidence and conviction, I took my name out of the running, and it was one of those things. I knew building a culture anywhere was going to be tough as a first-year head coach.
Right.
But doing it in Steve's shadow without head coaching experience would have been very hard.
Right.
Gonzaga has a great man in Keith Ergo running the ship now.
Absolutely, they do.
For me to go to Loyola and have this fresh start and really do things my way, rather be looking over my shoulder at, oh, is this what Steve would have done?
Because Steve had to look over his shoulder under Dick Myers, right?
No doubt.
Right?
And
right?
I have so much I've learned from Steve that I take in literal ways or subconscious ways into what I do.
Is there anyone better? I mean, there's plenty of great coaches. Anyone better to learn? First of all, Steve cares. I texted with him this morning, one of our old teachers from back in our Blair days past. But if you text Steve, he'll text you right back, unless he's on TV. Because I see him on TV more than I see him in real life. But, like, you learned from a great guy. I
did. Steve's my brother. We spoke yesterday. We talk about everything under the sun that has nothing to do with basketball, and we talk about everything basketball as well. It's impossible to state how much I learned from him and how much I appreciate the opportunity to coach with him. But now that we're friends, brothers through the years, all the battles we've fought, and we're peers now in the sense that we're comparing notes as head coaches. Right. That's a cool new chapter. I miss him, but we were able to go down to Florida this spring break and see him and Leah and Lynn and spend some time with them in Montverde and see his new digs.
Two things I want to say. One, you may know because you said you listened to Take It to You with, Turner and O'Neill. But there are two things. I'm going to call you out on one. Why do you have that little ass coffee? Why did you not get a bit? He's got like an 8-ounce cup of coffee.
What the heck?
What's going on there? You need more caffeine than that, brother.
I usually go 1 to 2 cups a day. I got a nice 6 to 7 hours of sleep last night, so I don't need a lot. Just a little pick me up. Usually, being in the gym, I don't need coffee. I just need water.
Right.
Being in here is enough energy, and what a beautiful backdrop for the best summer league in the country. Being here at the Math, this is fun for me. I have one of my former players, Grayson Skeeter, playing for Severn against some good friends, Timmy and Danny Harwood, running the Magruder program. So this should be a good game.
And the second thing I want to say is, and you may have heard this if you watched or listened to Take It to You with Coach Turner and O'Neill. Let me tell you something about Steve that has nothing to do about basketball. In high school, I was not the jock that him and a lot of his friends were. But he brought me into a circle and made me feel like a brother. And they were 1 year older than me. And I was never a stranger. Everybody knew me because if I knew Steve and I knew Leo and I knew Vic Martins, all the guys you know, right? And I was cool like them. I've met a lot of the Blair crew through the years. Right.
And Steve being, say, a college soccer player,
right.
Steve being someone who, was friends with everybody. Those are the things people don't know. They just assume he's this basketball guy and has a basketball circle. Of course, he has a huge basketball circle, one of the great networks. But, Steve, I would call Steve a Renaissance man. He has a lot of talents beyond steering the ship of a program.
He loves music.
No doubt. And he'll talk your ear off, and his playlist is as eclectic as they come, and he'll listen to everything under the sun. But I think he coached that way as well. He took kids, as Gonzaga draws young men from all over the DMV. He took kids from Bethesda, and he took kids from Northern Virginia and DC and PG, and he was able to meld them so well, and also really lift up the kids that weren't maybe the 5-star recruited kids, but who understood their role and were there every single time in weak side for a charge, or who always made the right pass, or who were just great teammates and didn't expect but hustled. And then there's so many great stories of kids that didn't play a lick as a junior, but then made their way into the rotation as a 7th or 8th man as a senior, played meaningful minutes, played Division III. Steve's coached a lot of high-level guys that went D1. He also has a great legacy of players who played at the Division III level. Connor Amorosi is one example from Washington and Lee. He's been the best player in that program for 2 years. He barely made it as a junior at Gonzaga.
How about that?
But because of the ringer that he went through to make it, and then the way he competed in practice every day, the way Steve set the tone for everybody getting better, Connor became a guy that played in the WCAC and is now one of the best players in all of D3.
Steve would not be happy if I did not turn this corner right now. Steve would not want this to be about him. This is about you and Loyola Blakefield and what you've done. Talk to us, and I'm sure Chelsea has some questions. Talk to us about, you go from the WCAC, what I believe to be, and most people believe to be, the most competitive league in the country. Maybe in basketball and football, right? And lacrosse is not too shabby either on that side. Tell me about that, going to Baltimore, still being in the most competitive region in the area, and where did you, I got a million questions. Answer whatever you want.
Sure.
Where did you set your expectations? What does success look like to you? How is the recruiting going? How are you selling into the Loyola Blakefield community? Just have at it.
The WCAC, you won't get a debate from me that it's an elite league, the top league. I will say the Baltimore Catholic League, if people put it behind the WCAC, it's not that far behind.
Right.
You had Mount St. Joe and St. Francis beat two really good teams this year in the WCAC, St. John's and Gonzaga.
Is always good.
And through the years, I think St. Francis got us a time or two when we were at Gonzaga. We had a few more wins, but the Baltimore Catholic League is no joke. Mount St. Joe, St. Francis, Mount Carmel, Archbishop Spalding, John Carroll, those were all teams that would have not just survived in the WCAC, but competed to play at American in that quarterfinal.
Right.
If
that
they were
last week in
in the
February.
league this year. I mean, major talent. So for us, I came in and inherited a program that had 3 players that had any varsity experience, and 0 of whom had played meaningful minutes in the BCL.
They did not make it easy for you.
So, well, it's not anyone's fault. It's just how the chips fell. We had a lot of guys that, before I even met them, decided to leave the school.
Okay.
We had a lot of seniors on the previous year's team. So I came in and we had a lot of JV guys that we needed to help accelerate their readiness as quickly as possible. And I feel proud of what we did in terms of daily improvements, buying into the system, being great teammates, being great citizens of the school, pillars in the community. That's kind of how we've defined success in year one. And we did win some games. We won 3 games by 1 point, which we celebrated those. It's very hard to win. And we took our lumps. We had some major losses. We lost by 40. We lost by 30. We lost by 25 to some teams that the second time we played them, we gave them a different game. So I think our guys bought into the notion of, hey, it's hard to win. We got to put our mind, body, and soul into this. And for our program, our 3 themes, our 3 pillars are gratitude, leadership, and devotion. And we're chipping away at the notion of every little thing. We want to never delay gratitude. We want everyone in our program to have leadership qualities that we encourage to be on display and for them to utilize. You don't have to be a senior to lead. You don't have to be a captain to lead. And then the devotion piece. And we're not asking guys to be single sport athletes, but we are asking guys when they're in the gym to give everything they have every day. And that goes from no cell phones in the gym to showing up with your shoelaces tied to leaving, even if it's a 30-minute workout after a lift, let's leave with our shirts dripping in sweat because you can't cheat the game. So I think our guys are embracing that, and we have some guys that's who they are already. We're very excited about our incoming class of rising 9th graders that are guys who've been playing on the big circuits, teams like Team Thrill, DC Premier, and the like, and those guys are going to be ready to play varsity sooner than later.
So you mentioned how you kind of came in and there's 3 guys on your roster. You have 1 year under your belt now. Why Summer League? Why was this important for you to get these guys more experience maybe? Like, why is this important to you?
Great question. You know, for us to seek out competition in the summer where our league rule is we're allowed unlimited practice and unlimited time in the summer, and we're not going to go 5 practices a week through the end of August, but we are going to have a robust June where we're taking advantage of some of these competitive opportunities around. There's no summer league more competitive than DeMatha. We'll also play some team camps. We'll play in the Maryland Live period. It's really important that we don't just seek out competition, but we get the chance to evaluate our guys over the course of a month where there is a little less pressure on them. This isn't all about winning and losing. This is about striving to win. It's about giving guys a chance to show who they are. And so for us to do that, if we were just doing blue versus white practices at Loyola all summer, you don't see the best of these guys. These guys are excited to be here at DeMatha today. They're excited to play on the main court. They're excited for all the other things that Capital Hoops does with the video and the exposure. And so last summer, without living up there, I wanted to be in this league, but I'm glad we did not do it because we have guys coming from all over, and I was still living down this way. Now that I'm up there, like this morning, I got to the school. We did a little walkthrough. We left as a team from the school, and I'm able to drive them down. So logistically, it just makes more sense.
Is that your boys up there?
Yeah, they're getting ready. Yeah, we're playing here at 11:15 against Kennedy. So
we got to get him off this mic soon.
Yeah.
A couple things I want to discuss then with you before you go, because obviously you got to take a look at your team and get ready. You're building good minutes, sounds like, and that's what I love. Because you and I know that the ball will stop bouncing, and not every kid up there will be D1 and then NBA or Europe or whatever. What I did not hear, but I know it's coming, don't tell me I'm wrong, is you have your 3 pillars. That service component and service to others, I'm sure, will be a part of that. I think that's built from Gonzaga. That's built from wherever. So thank you in advance for the man you are being for these young men, because there's a kid up there, or there's a kid who will be in your program who doesn't have the you in his life that he needs. You already know that. Did you play ball coming up, growing up?
I did. I had great supportive parents who got me involved at age 6, and I never looked back. I was able to play all through college. I played 4 years at Kalamazoo College in Michigan, Division III. And I had some great mentors, no better leaders than my parents. But for these guys, a lot of them have great support, but the school, the culture at the school to be men and women with and for others is not just window dressing. Right. That's something that every teacher, every administrator believes in, and that we hope our graduates, and we have an incredible graduating class that walks our quad, what they call the hollow, tomorrow. Those guys are going to go set the world on fire. Like those guys, and our 4 seniors from the basketball program, one's going on to play college basketball. That's Io. He's going to play at Hartford Community College. And we have 3 other guys that are going to be doctors or businessmen or something where they make a huge impact. That's Jaden, Jordan, and Colin. I'm so proud of all those guys. Like Jordan had never played basketball at Loyola before this year.
Okay.
And he made the team as a senior. Jaden didn't play as a junior. He came back and made it as a senior. Colin, he could have played Division III, and he thought he wanted to just go to Penn State and be a student, but he did me the courtesy of at least visiting a couple schools. He went to Catholic, and he went to Washington College, and he explored that it would be a possibility. And then with conviction, he made the decision to just be a student, and I think that's great. So those guys are going to kill it in college, and I'm so proud of those 4.
Last thing I want to ask you. Well, number one, I'm going to make you pinky swear that you'll come back because we don't have as much time as I want today. How different does this look than it did when you played? I'm older than you, I assume, and I didn't play basketball at a high level. I played 1 year of rec ball. But Summer League was just like 8 games in Montgomery County, the IBO League, and that was it. Now you've got events. You've got camps. You've got team camps. You've got, I mean, there's something out there at Suitland High School today.
Summer Madness.
Yeah. There's this. There's the DC. There's the Herbo. There's the Jellifleet. There's the, goodness gracious, this is 12 months a year.
It is.
I think you get a break like the 2nd, 3rd week in March, and then you're back in the gym because you got to get ready for Summer League.
We do take it easy in March because they're getting going with their AAU clubs. And we also try to take it easy in August. If we go hard in the summer, these guys are growing boys that, they need to experience some summer. They need to stretch, rest, do yoga, maybe shoot free throws, but we do not do a ton in August.
Right.
I encourage family time then. And I remember got that from my good friend Howard Blue years ago. He's like, shut it down.
You better
all
stop
these guys,
with that Georgetown
shut
Prep
it
name
down
drop.
in August.
That's
shut it
my
down.
man over there.
That's Howard's good people. Shut it down in August. So I really believe in that wholeheartedly. But the other 10, absolutely. And it is different. I was lucky to have summer leagues, but it wasn't like this with 60 teams,
right,
with this level of competition. I grew up in Michigan. It was a lot different. The level of effort on the court, the level of skill, the game's evolved 25 years since I was in high school.
Keeping kids out of trouble, keeping them off the streets in the summer.
It was, for the adults, it was about getting that head start on the culture and the season. I remember playing in a freshman summer league, which I would love for our guys. But for these guys to have the social media, to have the organization of Mark's people in this league, I hope they understand what a blessing it is.
Chelsea, got one final question for the young man?
I do. So, correct me if I'm wrong. Loyola Blakefield is grades 6 through 12, right?
It is. It's a boys' Jesuit, Catholic Jesuit school, yes.
And before you were coaching at Mater Dei and Gonzaga at the same time, right? So that's kind of a pipeline. Not direct, but it's kind of a pipeline. Now at Loyola Blakefield, you have the 8th graders are going to 9th grade.
Sure.
Why was that important from Mater Dei to Gonzaga, and why is that even more important now that it's more direct?
Just in-house, yeah.
That's a good question. We had young men at Mater Dei that I coached and were great basketball players who did not go to Gonzaga. Hunter Dickinson is one. He went here to DeMatha.
But Jared Turner came your way.
Jared Turner, Devin Dinkins, Malachi Terrell, a long list. It wasn't a pipeline as much as it was real. Like, I was able to get to know those young men, and they knew I was an assistant at Gonzaga, but it wasn't like, oh, you'll come here and go to Gonzaga, right? It was more, you want to come to Mater Dei to prepare you to apply to these quality schools, DeMatha, Gonzaga, Georgetown Prep, wherever it might be. At Loyola, we do have this incredible opportunity to create culture in the middle school that trickles up. And so since last summer, when I was able to start running workouts, we did have our middle schoolers incorporated.
Of course.
And so we've had kind of two levels with it, a quote-unquote varsity and a quote-unquote JV, and all of our middle school guys are invited to our JV workouts in the off-season.
Coach Roger Garfield, he's with Loyola Blakefield. He's got gentlemen on the terrace who are bouncing basketballs and doing their calisthenics, getting ready for what I'm sure will be a great game. You've got Kennedy, I think, right?
That's correct.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have him back. This is the DMV Hoops Podcast. I'm Kurt Cross. She is
Chelsea Cross.
And we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Kurt. Thanks, Chelsea.
Thanks for tuning in to the DMV Hoops Podcast, your home for high school basketball coverage across the DMV. Be sure to subscribe, follow, and share the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, YouTube, Buzzsprout, and everywhere podcasts are heard. Follow us on Instagram and X at DMV Hoops Podcast. The DMV Hoops Podcast is hosted by Kurt Cross, featuring Chelsea Cross. Thanks for listening.